Hello there, I'm Robert McKay. Excuse me. This is Christianity on the Bottom Shelf, where I try to make various elements of Christianity comprehensible to those who know little or nothing about Christianity. I don't keep a record of what I've already done. I do have a list of things I think I might want to do, but I don't keep track of what I've already done. I think, can't swear to it, I think that I have done a video on abortion already. If I have, this one builds on it, kind of builds on what I believe, let's say. Builds on the Christian view of things. If not, then this will definitely tell you where I stand. I am recording this, and I'm giving you the date for a specific reason, which should become clear in a minute. I'm recording this on the 24th of June, 2026. When I'll upload it, I don't know. Usually I randomize things, but I might go ahead and just move this to the head of the line anyway. We'll see. The reason I wanted you to know the date that I'm recording this is so that if you want to, you can go back and look at a video on the Sarchy Sarch channel. That's S-A-R-C-H-Y S-A-R-C-H. 2 words. The young lady's name is Sarah. She got the nickname Sarchy. I don't remember the full story, years ago when she was at a particular job. I think that was it. She's living in Japan currently. At the time of the last video I saw, she was moving in 2 weeks back to New Zealand, where she's from. I believe she is perhaps half Japanese. Her husband is a white man, an Anglo we'd call him here in New Mexico. But Sarah posted a video on why she's not pro-life. And her explanation was that so many pro-life people and organizations are willing to accept some abortion as long as they can get rid of some abortion. And her position is that that is not pro-life, or if that's pro-life, she's not in that camp because she wants absolute abolition of abortion. We now come to the scripture, and Sarah can do what I can't. She can quote things from memory. I can usually get the gist of a verse that I remember or a passage. I can almost never remember the address, the reference. I looked this up. I knew it was part of what we call the 10 Commandments, but I didn't remember the reference. It is Exodus 20:13, just 4 words. You shall not murder. The King James Version has thou shalt not kill. The Hebrew doesn't mean all killing, it means specifically murder. Killing, say someone is trying to do harm to my wife and the only way to stop him is to kill him, that is absolutely permissible under biblical teaching. If at church someone breaks in with a gun and one of the members or a security guard pulls his weapon and ends that attacker, that is perfectly permissible. Murder is what God is forbidding here. It's an absolute, unqualified prohibition. You shall not murder. What is murder? You can look in various legal, or you can look in various bodies of statute law and find legal definitions, but essentially murder is this: killing someone who has done no wrong, or at least has done no wrong worthy of death, and or without due process of law. If a police officer walks up to someone in the street, out of nowhere, for no reason, pulls his weapon and shoots that person dead, it's murder. Equally, if that person walks up to a police officer and does the same thing, it's murder. It is not murder for the state to execute a murderer. That is why Paul said in the 13th of Romans, God gave the power of the sword to civil governments to deal with, among other things, murderers. With this definition of murder in mind, is abortion murder? Has the baby done anything to harm anyone? No. No. I don't care what the woman says, that baby has not harmed her. I'm sorry, the only way I know to make this point as forcefully and succinctly as I know how is to be crude. She opened her legs. And the baby's not harming the man. He climbed on top of her. I apologize for the crudity, but I want to get it through as plainly as I can. If anyone did anything to harm anyone, the man and the woman harmed each other and are now contemplating harming the baby, who has harmed no one. That's one of the qualifications for murder. If you kill him, he hasn't done anything wrong. Is there due process of law? In other words, has there been an investigation into a crime? Has there been accumulation of evidence? Has there been an arrest, an arraignment, and or a grand jury indictment? Has there been a trial? Has there been a sentence? No, none of that has happened. This baby has never been to court. So we have someone who's done no wrong. We have no due process of law. And we have a deliberate killing. That leads to the next question: is the baby alive? Well, prove to me that it's not. You're the one, if you're pro-abortion, you're the one who is perhaps saying the baby's not alive. You have the claim to prove. That baby is at least as alive as a bacterial colony. That baby is at least as alive as a wasp. Baby is at least as alive as the whales that for a while everybody was saying we need to save. I haven't heard save the whales in years. Haven't heard free Tibet in years either. Some people don't care about Tibet or about the whales. They just follow the fad of what's cool in their world. Is the baby human? From the instant of fertilization, if you test that DNA, do you know what you're going to get? A, human. B, a unique individual whose DNA is different from the mother and the father. We have a living human being. And here's another point, by the way. A bovine fetus never develops into a giraffe, always into a baby calf. Baby calf is redundant. A calf is a baby cow. A giraffe's unborn baby never becomes an alligator. It's always a giraffe. the individual inside a woman's womb always comes forth as a baby human being. We're not dealing with something that becomes human. We're dealing with humanity from beginning to end. With these things in mind, it is clear abortion is murder, and murder of the most innocent and defenseless of the entire human race. And what did God say? You shall not murder. If abortion is murder, then shall we accept any abortion? Shall we say, well, abortion after this point is okay, we don't like it, but we'll allow it? Apply that to slavery. You can enslave this child once he's 15. Before that, you can't. You know what you're saying? You're saying slavery is okay. If you say, we can kill whales until they're 20 feet long, or excuse me, we can only kill whales after they're 20 feet long. When they're 19 feet and 11 inches, no, we can't kill them. You're saying killing whales is acceptable, you just have to do it at a particular point in their growth. If you say, we will accept abortion after the detection of the heartbeat, you're saying it is acceptable to murder children before you can detect their heartbeat, just not after. Abortion is forbidden beyond X number of weeks. What you're saying is that murdering innocent children is acceptable before that point. There is absolutely no valid reason for abortion, period, end of discussion. Now maybe people watching this, I don't know who watches these videos. There are people who say, well, what about the health of the mother? The number of abortions where letting the baby be born would have at all imperiled the mother's health is about that much of the total. I believe it was Ben Carson, who's a pediatric surgeon by profession. I believe it was him. It might have been someone else. But he said he had cared for thousands of unborn children. Not once was the baby a serious threat to the mother's health. Throwing up the mother's health is like saying, we must kill all giraffes that are only 3 feet tall. Well, where are you going to find a 3-foot tall giraffe? There aren't any. What about deformities in the baby? Are we going to go around the streets, find adults who are deformed and kill them? It's the exact same principle. What about babies who will be born into terrible lives, abusive parents, poverty, what have you? A, how do you know that baby's going to live his whole life that way? You don't. Have a little humility. Don't be so arrogant and think you know exactly what's going to happen to someone who hasn't been born yet. Show some sense. But is it better to murder people so they're not poor than to let them perhaps work their way out of poverty? By your standards, we would have murdered George Washington Carver. By your standards, we would have murdered, oh, my brain went utterly blank, Booker T. Washington. By your standards, we would well, I take it back. Jesus was not deformed. He was not born into poverty. His father was a businessman. so you wouldn't have murdered Jesus. Well, what about it? The mother is unmarried. There you would have murdered Jesus. Now, under the Jewish law, they were betrothed, which was more than being engaged, but not quite as much as fully married. But a woman who lay with another man after her betrothal was not guilty merely of immorality, but of specifically adultery. And she was subject to stoning. That's why in the New Testament you find Joseph saying, look, I don't want to do anything. Let me just quietly end this. He could have stood up in public and demanded they stone her to death. But Mary was technically not yet quite married. Would we have killed Jesus? How many slaves were born into well, actually, before the end of slavery, the slaves in most places, under almost all owners, had a more normal life than you realize. So that's the wrong road to go down. I don't care what you bring up about the mother, about deformities, about poverty. It is not a valid reason. It's not even a valid excuse for murdering a baby. Now, if you don't believe in God, you're not worried about what he said here in Exodus. I realize that. But perhaps the concept of murder is still repugnant to you. If it's not, then you're essentially saying it's all right to walk up to you and shoot you in the head 3 times until you drop dead on the sidewalk. And I don't think you actually believe that. Somebody who's that ready to die shoots himself in the head. Not 3 times, of course. If abortion is murder, and it is, if that baby is a separate and distinct living human being, and he is scientifically provable beyond question, then it is wrong to kill any baby at any point. Is all slavery wrong, or can we allow some slavery? Is all war wrong for those of you who are fervent anti-war people, or can we allow some war? Is abusing women always wrong, or can we make a few exceptions? If you're saying no, all war is always wrong, it is always wrong to abuse women, all slavery is always wrong, if you're saying that, you have no tenable foundation for saying some abortion is acceptable. You have no valid reason to say, I don't like it, I wish it was gone, but I'll accept this rather than accept all of it. No. Now, I'll take what I can get. If we can stop the murder of 30% of babies, that's better than nothing, I grant. But I'm not satisfied with 30%. I'm not satisfied with 40 or 50%. I am not satisfied if we ban 99% of abortions. If we get to that point, there's still that 1% of murder which we absolutely must abolish. And murder is already illegal. If I were the governor of a state, do you know what I'd do? Or the mayor of a town, or what have you? I would direct every law enforcement agency under my control to prosecute abortionists and women who procure abortions on charges of murder, and I would direct those law enforcement agencies to prosecute promoters of abortion as accessories to murder. And I would probably lose the next election, because even the conservatives wouldn't stand for that kind of consistent, rational Christian act. But I'd do it. Because abortion, all abortion, is always murder. And murder is already illegal. And you can't find any other position in the Bible. You might find it in some kind of humanistic philosophy and then claim that it's Christian, just like people have claimed Jesus was a socialist on that much evidence. I can claim that I'm Donald Trump. Doesn't make it true. Doesn't prove it true. And you can look at the screen and know that if I say I'm Donald Trump, I'm either lying or delusional. Those who claim that the Bible supports abortion are either lying or mistaken, even delusional. It's that simple. Abolish it. We should prosecute all murder, including the murder of unborn children.